Yes, it was time for a new gig snapshot, and I went to see a band that knows that real guitars have wings. The one and only and legendary Wishbone Ash, a band that looks back at a career of, I think, by now a good 54 or 55 years. They are currently touring again, at least in Europe, UK, and Scandinavia, but maybe also even the United States. And I went to see the concert with my dad, who is quite a fan of Wishbone Ash, and I took the chance to see these guys myself. I was a little bit nervous going into this concert, to be honest, because, with those bands that hardly consists of any original members anymore, and bands that have passed the 30, 40 years on stage, you never know what you will get. Sometimes this more or less becomes a kind of sad tribute show. So I didn't really know what to expect. Of course, Wishbone Ash are known for their intricate and masterful guitar playing, most of all the twin guitar harmonies that they more or less introduced to rock music, or at least perfected at an early stage, even before Thin Lizzy and Iron Maiden and all those bands. They would be nothing without the pioneering work of Wishbone Ash, a band that had one legendary album, Argus, from I think 1972 or 1973, but then somehow slipped a bit off the radar, and nowadays are hardly mentioned, hardly known, even among classic rock fans. Wishbone Ash does not necessarily always ring a bell. They are sort of a band that has remained a band for guitarists. A lot of guitarists know Wishbone Ash, or a band that has a devoted but small uh, following, a fan base that is in the know. So this concert took place at a really small club in Vienna, a club that is usually, rather specialized in blues and jazz concerts, sometimes also rock bands. And on the one hand, club concerts with such sort of legacy bands are a bit of a sad thing, because I honestly think Wishbone Ash, even in 2024, would deserve a bigger audience. But then on the other hand, I actually prefer club concerts to, huge halls or stadium concerts. So seeing a band like that in a very intimate, laid back club setting was something quite exciting, actually. So we went in. I know a couple of Wishbone Ash tracks, a few albums. The one album I know best is their also quite legendary Live Dates album, which was released back in 1973 or 74. Um, One of the best live albums from the 1970s, in my opinion. So I went in thinking, well, they probably will play at least a few classics, and well, let's see what happens. Andy Powell comes on stage, the only remaining original founding member in the band, guitarist and frontman these days, and welcomes the crowd and says, well, we are going to play an entire album for you tonight. We're going to play the Live Dates album. Okay, from that moment on, I was in. The audience was also quite an interesting mixture. Of course, I was one of the probably youngest members in the audience, as far as I could tell. There were, of course, a lot of, silver rockers, 50, 60 plus. A couple of young hippies who somehow had found their way to Wishbone Ash, and then also a little group of obviously metalheads who probably wanted to see where the roots of some of the guitar pyrotechniques come from. So, yeah, quite an odd mixture in the audience, but maybe this also nicely captures how many different genres Wishbone Ash fits in, or actually does not fit in, because from the very get-go, Wishbone Ash were always a bit hard to classify. At the end of the day, of course, it's rock music, but with that special Wishbone Ash approach or touch. They have been classified as classic rock, progressive rock, hard rock, and then there are also traces of sometimes even a bit of folk music and blues rock as well as boogie rock in their music. So probably that also explains the mixed crowd in the club. It was a very laid back, very positive, cheerful atmosphere. And, well, what can I say about the band and the performance? Andy Powell is now, I think, 73 years old, or very soon is going to turn 73 years. He went on stage looking at best like a 60-year-old. So if I'm in that condition at 73, I think I've done everything right in my life. I had to look up the other members that form the current lineup of Wishbone Ash. I have to admit, we have Mark Abrahams on guitar, second guitar. No, it's not really second guitar. With Wishbone Ash, you always had two lead guitarists. So, second lead guitar, Mark Abrahams. I think he's together with the drummer. He's the youngest member in the group at the moment. A very fine guitar player. I was at least as impressed with his guitar playing than I was with Andy Powell's guitar playing. Bob Skeet on bass guitar. He joined the band in the late 90s. And Mike Truscott on drums. The drums were also pretty solid. It's the one instrument that maybe gets a bit overlooked when you're listening to Wishbone Ash, because the entire focus, of course, is on what the guitars are doing. And yeah, the band gave us all of those different flavors I've mentioned. There was a bit of progginess. There were, of course, heavier passages, as heavy as Wishbone Ash ever got. And they even could dish out the blues. There was no supporting act, all very straightforward. Small club, as mentioned, the sound technician more or less stood right next or in the audience with his mixing desk. Yeah, the band started with a bit of a surprise for me. Real Guitars Have Wings. This is an instrumental track from their late 80s album Nouveau Calls. But this track, the studio version, probably nowadays sounds a bit sterile and plastic-like, very 80s production. But on stage in 2024, this song was sort of revived a little bit. Quite a nice intro. Then they played We Stand as One, a track from their last studio album or latest studio album. More a kind of pumping your fists in the air for aging rockers type of song. Quite a crowd pleaser. I think there are better songs on this latest album. But yeah, this was all very good. Andrew Powell handles the vocals all by himself nowadays, which is also quite interesting because originally, in the golden days of Wishbone Ash in the early 70s, he was only a backing vocalist or backup singer, and the main vocals back then were the job of the bass player Martin Turner, who left the band in the early 80s, then briefly returned for a lukewarm reunion, and left the band again in the early 90s and has never returned ever since. So Andrew Powell is not really a natural singer, or that's not his main strength. Actually, he's not the best singer in the world. He handled the vocals quite competently. It was solid singing. Also, of course, his voice has aged. I mean, he's over 70 years old now. So that was maybe something to get used to a little bit, but the vocals never were the most important feature. Most of the talking or most of the musical information anyways in Wishbone Ash songs comes from the guitars, and the really perfect, immaculate harmony playing between the two guitars and the trading off of solo passages. But let's not overlook the third secret ingredient of the Wishbone Ash sound, and that's actually the bass guitar that very often provides a third harmony line. So when people talk of twin guitars or twin harmonies, what they actually mean are triple guitars in Wishbone Ash. After all, a bass guitar also is a kind of guitar. So after these first two songs, they started indeed going through the tracklist of the Live Dates album, and that already opens with three classics from the Argus album: The King Will Come, Warrior, and Throw Down the Sword. That got the crowd going, even though these songs are actually more kind of mid-tempo, quite epic rock tracks, but that's what people, I think, like about Wishbone Ash. Then we got, and I was quite happy they really played through this album, then we got tracks like Rock and Roll Widow and Ballad of the Beacon. The latter one, maybe not one of their most popular or best known songs, but this is a track that shows a bit of their folk leanings as well. Rock and Roll Widow included some great slide guitar playing. And the more Welsh-influenced Ballad of the Beacon more or less sounded like on the record, as far as I remember, only with, a bit of an older voice. But it's a beautiful rock ballad.
Don't believe in this town in the morning, so tomorrow we'll be able to see. I had enough of the city, she's had enough out of me. Say back line to the mountain, will you still follow me there? Steer me away in the echo, the mountains will always be there.
And this was followed by the true highlights in the set list for me. The proggier side of Wishbone Ash, represented by the long multi-part instrumental The Pilgrim, which starts almost like an ambient or hypnotic drone, quite psychedelic, very slow, and then turns into quite a tricky rock track that somehow oscillates between 70s hard rock and mystic progressive rock. Andrew Powell definitely still has got the chops and knows how to play his guitar. This was followed by the fan favorite Blowing Free. It's one of my absolute favorite songs by Wishbone Ash, based on the Live Dates live version I knew from that live record. The studio version is also great, but a lot of the songs by Wishbone Ash really come to life and are actually better when they play them live than in the studio version. It's one of the rare occasions where you have a band that often improves their songs live on stage as compared to the studio output. And Blowing Free is no exception here. They play a lot of the songs a little bit slower than in the past, I think. But that doesn't detract from how fantastic this band is, how tight they are, and how great a lot of these tunes still are. played an early classic, Jailbait, and this was then followed by the last official track, the last official song of the set list, the super epic Phoenix. I didn't look at my watch, but this was at least, I think, 10 minutes long, maybe even longer. It's also one of their earliest songs, a guitar tour de force. It starts again rather atmospheric, very slow, a very slow, almost a bit tranquil, maybe for some people boring jam on, I think, 3 chords with atmospheric, slow guitar solos. But this song actually is a wicked piece of evil guitar playing, as demonstrated in the second part of the song. And they really took their time to jam. To jam along, there were guitar duels, solos for everybody in the band, more or less. No drum solo, but... Maybe this is a bit old-fashioned nowadays to, have these super long songs that are actually just a succession of different rock solos. And for younger bands, maybe this represents everything that is cliché about classic rock. But seeing the guys who more or less invented this, doing this still after 50 years is something that is impressive and just is a joy to see. The audience had fun. The band obviously had fun on stage. They still enjoy doing what they do. And for Completists, the only song they left off from the Live Dates album, the only song they didn't play was Lady Whiskey. Maybe they forgot it or they didn't feel like playing it. And they gave us one encore, and that was again a nice choice. Living Proof, which I think is 1980-ish, one of their more straightforward rock songs, a nice finale to the concert here. The crowd definitely was ready for a second encore. The band wasn't. Judging from setlists that I also found on the internet from this tour, the setlist seems to be very much predefined, very fixed, with only small deviations from show to show. But no complaints from me here. Of course, it would be great to see Wishbone Ash play a more eclectic set list once, where they maybe, next to their early 70s classics, they could add a few of the highlights from the late 70s. Their albums were a bit inconsistent during that time, but each of the albums has at least 2 or 3 really outstanding tracks. Or maybe even add some of the better, more exciting tracks from the early 2000s. But of course, you can always do fantasy set lists. I was super happy they chose this a live tribute to a live album. Wishbone Ash playing live dates live again, I guess. Yeah. All I can say is I was pretty impressed with this band and how this band still performs on stage. If you are a fan of guitar music, guitar rock, don't miss out on Wishbone Ash. Maybe start with Live Dates, the original album from '73. Catch them live if you can. You never know how long bands like this will still be around. And yes, I often wonder if somebody like Andrew Powell at one day hangs up his guitar for good, what will happen to all these great songs, these great tunes? Are there any bands who will pick up a few Wishbone Ash classics and cover them? Or will we not be able to hear music like that performed live anymore? But I don't mean to end this gig snapshot video on a sentimental or melancholic note. Wishbone Ash are the living proof of rock music still exciting people these days, even if it is in a small club in Vienna. I hope Mark Abrahams and the whole band enjoyed their day off after this show. At the point I post this video, they are probably already somewhere in Scandinavia. So here's hope to a lot more years for Wishbone Ash, either on the road or maybe on yet another studio album. And now I'll do what some YouTube experts always say you shouldn't do, because you will immediately, in the last second, lose over 30% of your viewers. I'll say thanks for watching. That's it from me and my Flying V. See you the next time.